Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of NutriLIV 360, our program. And आज का सेशन बहुत ही स्पेशल होने वाला है because tonight we are going to discuss the most important subject, health. You know, and आज हम एक चैंपियन को सुनने वाले हैं. I'm going to get into a conversation on this subject tonight. But why do you think this subject is important? You know, health आज की तारीख में you see anywhere and everywhere health is getting discussed. Internet is full of information regarding health. I mean, in fact, अगर आज की तारीख में आज अगर आप देखिए, so confusion पहले से और ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है because of over information on this subject, health, be it lifestyle disorders, be it weight management. I mean, internet, social media, Instagram is full of information. And the biggest challenge that people are facing today is the right information. राइट इंफॉर्मेशन उनके लिए क्या जरूरी है, उनको क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, बहुत मिसकंसेप्शन फ्लोट करता है. एंड दैट्स द रीजन वी थॉट लाइक लेट्स गेट इनटू अ कन्वर्सेशन ऑन दिस इंपॉर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट, हेल्थ. राइट, या ये वाकई इंपॉर्टेंट है या हमने इसको बड़ा बना दिया है? ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल है कि वाकई इज इट इंपॉर्टेंट टू फोकस ऑन हेल्थ, या इट हैज बिकम अ स्टाइल सिंबल टुडे. ये सारी बातें आज हम करने वाले हैं. एंड जो हमारे गेस्ट हैं वो हमारे मेंटोर हैं इस प्रोग्राम के. एंड जो मैं बार बार बोलता हूं कि इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हमें लीड कौन कर रहा है. यू नो, सो वी ऑल आर वेरी फॉर्चुनेट बिकॉज हम आज जिनको सुनने वाले हैं, जिनके पर्सपेक्टिव को सुनने वाले हैं, ये एक वर्ल्ड चैंपियन है. ही हैज रिप्रेजेंटेड इंडिया इन 3 ओलंपिक गेम्स. एशियन गेम्स में इन्होंने 8 बार इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट किया है. ही हैड अ एक्टिव स्पोर्टिंग करियर ऑफ मोर देन 4 डिकेड्स, 40 साल से ज्यादा. मैं इनको मोर देन 25 ईयर से जानता हूं और नेवर एवर आई हैव सीन हिम लाइक इनके जो फंडामेंटल्स है बहुत क्लियर हैं लाइफ में. एंड जो हेल्थ को लेके जो इनका अप्रोच है बहुत ही क्लियर है. ये अर्जुन अवार्ड विनर हैं. ये इनको छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज पुरस्कार से सम्मानित किया गया है. सो सोच के देखिए, जिसका 40 ईयर से ज्यादा एक्टिव स्पोर्टिंग करियर है. मैं नहीं जानता किसी भी ऐसे स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन को who had a more than 40 years का sporting career. When he was 50 years old, he won a silver medal for India in 2010 in China Asian Games. 50 साल की उम्र में इन्होंने इंडिया को एशियन गेम्स में सिल्वर मेडल दिलाया है. इमेजिन करिए आपकी फिटनेस लेवल क्या होगी. इसलिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है हु इज लीडिंग अस और हम सुन किसको रहे हैं. Not taking much of time, please help me to invite our guest speaker for tonight, Farooq Tarapur. Welcome, Farooq.
Thank you, Raj, for those kind words.
And Farooq,
Yeah.
as I introduced you, like 40 years का sporting career, इतने सारे गेम्स को आपने रिप्रेजेंट किया है. सो आई मीन यू अंडरस्टैंड हेल्थ मच बेटर देन ऑल ऑफ अस, राइट? एंड आई एम श्योर मच बेटर देन मोस्ट ऑफ द डॉक्टर्स. सो फारूक, टुनाइट वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस सम वेरी बेसिक क्वेश्चंस. बिकॉज यू नो व्हाई बेसिक? बिकॉज जब बहुत ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स चीजें अराउंड होने लगती है, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू फोकस ऑन द बेसिक थिंग, राइट? आई एम गोइंग टू आस्क यू सम बेसिक क्वेश्चंस जो हम अपने इर्द गिर्द अपने फैमिली फ्रेंड्स में देखते हैं. ये डाउट जो हमारे दिमाग में रहता है, वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस दिस पॉइंट्स टुनाइट. एंड आई एम श्योर बाय द एंड ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर गोइंग टू हैव दिस क्लैरिटी ऑन हेल्थ, राइट? Farooq, my first question, you have this mantra of har ghar medicine free, har ghar tandurust, right? Why do you feel that it is important to give priority or focus to health in times like this? या ये सिर्फ एक वेव है जो थोड़े दिन के बाद सेटल हो जाएगा, या do you genuinely believe कि health needs to be given that priority, and why is it important according to you?
Yeah. Thank you, Raj. Well, health is your biggest asset. And people don't realize that how important health is till they lose it. So when you're young and you got good health, you take that health for granted. Till the time a stage comes, when you don't have that health. Now, don't you think that you should be thinking that ये situation that has developed, क्या ये कुछ, did this happen yesterday only when somebody loses health? No, this is something that has been brewing for like sometimes even decades, and you're not even aware of it. So that is a reason why, if you have a community like this, where we continuously keep talking about good effects of health, and what are the things that will benefit you. I know that everybody will not take everything, okay? But even if they take a few things, and even if they realize what is bad for them, and they start not even implementing the whole hog, they just say probably implement it by 10% or 20% or 50%. For example, on our community, we keep saying over and over again that, have your dinner by 6:30. Now, I'm sure that, out of all these people today on the platform, some people might have had dinner at 8:30, or some have not even had dinner till now and probably will have dinner after this program is over. Okay. At least they should be aware that this is going to harm your health. And when they are aware, what we have noticed, which is actually, very exciting and, I must say, very gratifying, that people on the community have time again come back and said that, we realized this, that this was wrong. So we did little less of the wrong. So even doing a little less of the wrong is a lot better than doing the whole wrong. And that is the reason why we have this community, and that is the reason why we try and, promote this concept. Now, let's try and understand one thing over here, that technology has advanced. Okay. And it is advancing very rapidly. Okay.
Correct.
It is frightful what I hear, what AI can do.
Okay.
And it is no longer, that it is going to happen somewhere a decade later or something. It is there. It's already there. In front, writing is on the wall. Okay. And while that technology is good, it's a double-edged sword, because it is making everyone more and more sedentary. For example, today I was feeling a little lazy, so I was thinking, okay, let me take a little rest. So I was sleeping on my bed, and I just recollected that I had to pay my mobile bill. I just took my phone and, got to the app and paid it. And it got me thinking that, my God, could you have imagined 50 years ago somebody paying a mobile bill while sleeping on the bed, not even sitting on the bed, sleeping? You can pay the bill. So while it is, making life comfortable, people are not realizing that this comfort is totally overrated. And the more comfortable we get, the worse it is for our health. That is one thing everyone has understood. All right.
Correct.
I can assure you that there is no chance for everybody now to not have a sedentary lifestyle. I'd be very surprised if somebody is saying, I don't have a sedentary lifestyle. Everyone has a sedentary lifestyle nowadays. So considering that technology has led us to this situation now, don't you think it becomes even more important that we have to be deliberate? Okay. And we have to teach deliberately what we think is right, which we do instinctively. Like I try and actually make myself uncomfortable. Like one of the things that I've said on this platform, I try and brush my teeth with, on odd days on the right leg, on even days on the left leg, just to make sure that I keep my balance, because as I grow older, it doesn't matter how many medals you have won. Okay. Age does not, recognize those medals anymore. You have to make sure that you start doing things deliberately. Now, how will you do these things deliberately if you don't know what is to be done deliberately? And that is why this topic of health is, it is definitely, it's not just something that is going to go, it's there to stay. And for some time, I can at least assure you that it is going to make an even bigger mess, because there is a lot of information that is available, as you rightfully pointed out, and wisdom lies in differentiating the fact from friction. Okay. Like another example I can give you is that I have put my kitchen dustbin, which is normally below, where, you just press your leg, the leg on the pedal and the lid opens and you throw the garbage in. I've taken it and put it on top of the platform.
Mm.
That every time I go to open the lid, I got to take my leg right all the way up to the platform,
Mm.
okay, and then put the garbage in. And sometimes it gets very tricky because I got a plate in my hand, I got a fork in my hand, I got that rubbish. So I got to really balance. One leg is on the top of the platform, and then I'm clearing the garbage. Okay. But at least the point I'm trying to make is, guys, unless and until you are going to be deliberate and you are going to, make your own stories, you're going to get into trouble sometime or the other. Okay. So this thing which was happening naturally 50 years ago, okay, is definitely not happening now. Okay. The amount of advancement technology has made in the last 10 years, that has not been made in the last 100 years before that. Okay. So everyone is going towards it, including, people would think that sports people would be out of this, group that I'm talking about. No,
Mm.
they are also in that group, because you find that so many sports people, the day they retire, okay, they'll end up with, heart problems. They'll end up with various, lifestyle diseases, because that sedentary lifestyle kicks in, what they were doing in the sports on a regular basis. Also, you have to remember another thing, that when the sedentary lifestyle, has kicked in,
Mm.
and we are trying to, be deliberate about our actions and the movements and all, it is not what you do by going 2 days to a gym is going to help you. Certainly not. It's not going to help you. Trust me.
Okay.
It is not the intensity of the workout that's going to help you. It is what you do consistently that's going to help you. Okay. And that is the reason why I keep saying on this platform that, give your body the right amount of exercise and the right amount of nutrition, not too much and not too little. You have found the safest way to help. Okay. Now, with the advancement in technology, there's a lot of medical science has made a lot of, advancement, to such an extent that there are now so many drugs, okay, available in the market. You got to ask yourself a question, that are you using, which is good, that that's the reason why people are living longer. Are you
Mm.
using the medication, or are you abusing the medication?
Mm.
Don't you think that if a problem has occurred due to lifestyle, the first thing one should do is to change lifestyle rather than just jumping onto medication?
Mm.
Because also remember, it's also a double-edged sword.
Mm.
Okay, every medication comes with its own side effects.
Mm.
There is a price to be paid.
Mm.
Every time you consume something, something is happening.
Mm.
In some people at a faster pace, in some people at a slower pace, but something is happening. Give you a very small example. Somebody gets a headache, and that's quite
Mm.
often nowadays with stress,
Correct.
right? When
Yeah.
they get a headache, the first this thing is to go and take a painkiller. It's so tempting. It's available, yaar. क्यों नहीं ले रहे हो?
Mm.
Why are you, suffering? Are you a martyr? Right? But I have resisted that, because I have found that there are some few basic reasons why you can get a headache. You haven't, it's hydration problem, it's nutritional problem, it's sleep problem, it's stress problem. So if you just go out for a run, do some exercises, the headache generally disappears. Yeah. It is very tempting. Sometimes you get a headache and, you can't sleep. It's very tempting. Arey, yeah, why am I suffering? Let me take a painkiller. But why would you want to do that? Leave that painkiller for something serious. If it happens, I hope it doesn't happen, but leave it for something serious. Okay, where you have to take it. Like if you have a surgery, you will have to be put on painkillers. So this, I'm trying to understand, are you using medication? Are you using science? Okay, are you abusing it? And that's why these kind of communities, these kind of health talks are extremely important, because it actually gives, it's like a guiding factor. So, should I do this? Should I not do this? Am I getting the right nutrition? Am I eating the right foods? Or am I eating the wrong foods? Like there's somebody, who's been after me for the last 1 week. Now that person is really obese, okay, wants to lose some weight, wants to put on muscle, all the nice things that he wants to do. But he wakes up at 3 in the afternoon and sleeps at 3 in the morning.
Mm.
Okay. He doesn't want to change that. Do you think it's possible?
But Farooq, how practical is it? Because most of see, you come from a sports background. For you, the priority on health, I mean, we all can understand must be high compared to other people. But most of the corporate folks today, I mean, people are working till late nights. I mean, there is no eating timing. So how do they prioritize, like what to choose, what to leave?
Oh,
Because
they are in, I can assure you that they are in bigger trouble, for
mm,
sure. Okay. I'll give you a very simple example. I
mm,
was talking to a close friend of mine, who's very sick, who's in the hospital, and he had all these negative thoughts with him and stuff like that. And after about 5-10 minutes of basically talking with him, I got him into the positive frame of mind. And then at night I get this call, okay, what did you say? And so, because the person looks completely different. So please try and understand that with this all this technological advancement and all, stress is a byproduct of that. Okay. So people are stressed out. And when people are stressed out, they create negative emotions. And negative emotions can have a very, very damaging impact on your health. So just think about it. If you do the opposite, if you have understood that negative emotions have a very harmful effect, don't you think similarly positive emotions can have a very positive impact? And it was not medication that changes mood or anything. It was just a few positive words going in. Okay. And it was amazing, okay, how that person sort of, was a new version. In fact, it was like saying, so and so's 2.0 version. It was unbelievable. Okay, how such small things can have such an amazing impact rather than just taking one medication after the other. Because once you get into this trap, okay, that one medication will guaranteed lead, if you're taking a lifestyle medication, okay. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not a platform for, not
anti-medication. So
medication,
yeah, yeah,
medication is good because that's what keeping people alive.
right.
But people should also understand that
Mm,
medication can increase your life, your
mm,
years, your lifespan, but it
mm,
does not necessarily increase your health span.
mm,
Each medication will lead to more medication, and more medication will lead to more medication. That leads all. And then when the problem hits you,
mm,
okay, it becomes a massive jumble. They don't know whether to treat, because as long as this is something which Ayurveda has said for a long time, more than 5,000 years ago. As long as you only keep treating the symptoms,
mm,
you're always going to be in trouble. But when this thing becomes a mess, because you got to understand that after cardiac and cancer, over medication is a third reason, for causing the maximum fatalities in the world today. So when you get into that kind of a mess, then you really don't know what to do, because are you looking at the cure, are you looking at attacking this thing, or are you just so confused as to you are only putting out fires here and there, you're going total damage control, and then life becomes very, very difficult. It becomes very confusing. People start feeling sorry for people. I can assure you, okay, I can say this with 100% predictability that if in all hospitals, okay, you change these two things, that you change the nutrition. I mean, today you go and look at what the food that is served in the hospitals.
mm,
It's like you get a dessert. Come on. How can you give a sick person a dessert that too full of sugar? And it's probably the biggest portion amongst all the other portions that are there. So if you can sort out nutrition and you can sort out exercise, you can, force people to do exercise when they cannot, 50% of the problems will get solved. I really encourage anybody that, if, God forbid, I hope nobody ever falls sick on this platform, but if they do fall sick, please don't stay attached to the bed. Get up. Okay. Your body is your own repair kit. And as long as you are moving, you got a phenomenal chance to recover because you giving your body a chance to repair itself. All right. The minute you start over-relying, see, I'm all the time using over. Okay. Use the medication right. You over-relying on medication. That medication is going to sort me out. Trust me, you are in trouble. Okay. And you'd be lucky to survive that, without causing more and more harm to you. So yes, to answer your question, okay, this is not, just a wave or a fantasy. This is going to go on for a long time now. But the main thing is that the longer it's going to go, it's going to create even more confusion and more mess, okay? Because most of them have no idea what these two words mean, nutrition and exercise. How much is enough? How much is the difference between training and straining? Okay, the difference between sedentary lifestyle and keeping an active lifestyle without causing any oxidative stress. All right. So this is a balance is the key. Once you understand the balance and once you start feeling your body, I really encourage everybody, feel your body. You should be able to tell as soon as the virus has attacked your body. Now, people are so, immune about all this that they don't really realize, oh, kya ho gaya? Suddenly, some people are like with a perpetual cold. It's okay. It's a common cold. But are you aware that there are more than 2,000 documented cold viruses as of today? So every time when you get a common cold, your body produces antibodies. You never get the same cold again. What does it tell you? It tells you that your immune system is so weak that you're going from one cold to the other. Every time you shake somebody's hand, I'm not saying don't shake people's hands, okay? But every time you do that, you're putting yourself to risk. So don't you think that instead of just it's a good idea to use sanitizers and all that, but instead of doing that, don't you think it would be a great idea if you can focus on making your immune system strong? How does your immune system strong? If they get the right macronutrients, they get the right micronutrients, and if you are exercising. The more you exercise, the stronger your immunity. The more the gap is bridged, the better is your immunity. The better is your vitamin D, better is your immunity. I really encourage everybody, even if you're not wanting to do other blood tests, get your vitamin D levels checked. Vitamin D is a miracle micronutrient. Okay, this is something which everyone needs. There is so much of fallacy around that you stand in the sun and your vitamin D is taken care of. Sorry, it doesn't happen. Okay, I stayed in the sun more than probably anybody on this platform, maybe 10 times over, like morning to night and hot sun. It used to burn our skin to that extent, and I was vitamin D deficient there till I realized this problem and I started taking vitamin D supplements. So it's very, very important to, learn all this. And all these things, I mean, let's be honest, can't be learned in one session, okay? That is the reason why we have these repeated sessions on every Mondays and Fridays, so that people can come and learn little things. Okay, maybe you understood 1%, but if you keep coming on 100 sessions, you'll get more and more. And then the more you understand, the more you'll be able to, look after yourself. The more you look after yourself, the more you'll be able to help your friends and family and people around you and help, because today it's a depressing sight. I was checking some statistics and I found that in India they say that about 1 in 1,000 people get cancer. They are thinking that in the next 4 or 5 years these numbers are going to change to 1:9. So
Okay.
look at 9 people around you,
Hmm.
and if they don't have cancer,
Hmm.
you need to be worried.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So are you going to be one of those statistics, or are you going to look after your health now so that you don't have to be worried about being one of those statistical numbers? So this is what the present scenario is, and the present scenario needs more and more education and more information to be imparted so that people start looking at that. As I mentioned right in the beginning, that nobody looks after their health till they finally lose it. And when they finally lose it, it becomes very difficult to come back. So my sincere request is, don't let that situation come. Okay. Dig the well before you need the water. Build your health so that, you're capable of, looking after your health. And it is actually your own responsibility, because if one person falls sick in your family or friends, the entire support system around it, gets so stressed out that you're putting them to risk also. So look after your health, because health is your biggest asset.
Parag, you emphasized on exercises and physical activities, and as the awareness is going up, we are seeing more and more people getting more. Either they are going to gym or they are running marathon, but we are also seeing an increase in the number of deaths that is happening, and these are like sudden cardiac arrest, and the person is dying on the spot. What's your opinion? Like, if like exercise and all everything is going up, why is it that people are dying on that? Like, there are cases where people have died at the gym.
Right. I've often said on this platform that give your body the right amount of nutrition and the right amount of exercise,
Yeah.
not too much and not too little. Why do you think I keep? See, when I say this, seems like a very simple statement,
Mm.
but because people don't realize the difference between too much and too little. Okay, this is the balance that if you can find the right balance, you'll be safe.
Mm.
If you don't find the right balance, you will be in trouble. Either if you're doing too little or you're doing too much. Now, unfortunately, that balance is for the individual to find. Okay, there is no one size fits all scenario over here. Okay, it's different for different people at different ages. So you need to figure out what's keeping you healthy. The rule of the thumb over here is, how do you figure this out? With this,
Mm.
ask yourself the following question: do I have more energy than yesterday, or do I have less energy than yesterday? Have you ever seen a sick patient very energetic? Have you ever seen a cancer
No,
patient very energetic?
no,
No, they're sitting to the bed.
right.
If you are energetic, if your
Mm.
energy levels are better than yesterday,
Mm.
you're on the right path. Accidentally or deliberately, you have found the right balance.
Okay.
So if you found the right balance, worship it, stick to that. If you haven't, then try and change something to get to the right balance. Okay. If you're not doing enough, do a little more. If you're doing too much, do a little less. But find the right balance. Movement is the key. Nutrition is the key. Because when you have this movement and when you have nutrition, you feel energetic, you feel good with yourself, you have got better ideas, your brain's working well. If there's a stressful scenario, you're able to cope up with it easily. The more physically and mentally fit you are, the better you are in crisis scenarios. The better you'll be able to cope with situations. Now, you've got to understand that everybody will have crisis. Whether you are rich or poor, whether you are, a politician, you have power, you don't have power, everybody will have crisis. It is how you handle crisis is what's very important as far as your health is concerned. Do you have a good coping up mechanism? Or are you that you just crumble under pressure? Okay. And I've always noticed that people with a sound health physically and mentally are the ones who make very, very balanced decisions in the times of crisis. Okay. And there are others who just sort of crack up, and it's something that you got to learn, okay, is my health, physical and mental balance, mental health good, better than yesterday, or is it getting worse than yesterday? Age is just a number. Age should not defeat you. It doesn't matter whether you are in your 30s, you're in your 50s, you're in your 80s, or you're in your 90s. Okay. If you can honestly answer the question, are my energy levels better than yesterday? Okay. You'll find the right balance.
Farooq, the second point that you brought in was nutrition, and we all understand that the food that we are eating today is absolutely, I mean, they are all gene modified and etc. And hardly anybody can get any nutritious stuff on plate. So, do you think supplements are important? And how does one decide? Because there is some theory says that no supplement should not be taken, and some theory says that since nutrition is lacking, how does one decide? A, is supplementation important, and B, what type of supplement one should choose?
See, try and understand
Yeah.
that the world's population has been increasing.
Hmm.
Okay. 50 years ago, I remember in India,
Hmm.
all right, we barely had any food on the
Hmm.
table. Okay. But it was
Hmm.
still coming from reasonably good sources.
Hmm.
Then people started thinking that, how are we going to feed so many more billions that are,
Hmm.
with the population increasing in the world? And they started modifying the food. So they started preparing food to feed the billions of people. Okay. And in the process, they kept losing nutrition. All right. And today, a stage has reached where you look at the food produce that you get into the market, and it's sincerely depressing. I can look at food and say, okay, this is coming from the right, this is coming from the right produce. I mean, this produce is coming from the right source, or is it coming from the wrong source here? And 99% of the food is coming from the wrong source. So we have more food, but it doesn't have the right nutrition. And in order to bridge this gap, see, the food that we eat gives us some nutrition. But now, if the nutrition keeps on reducing in the food, okay, the nutritional gap between what the nutrition that the body requires keeps on gradually increasing. Okay, nothing's going to happen in a day or two,
Hmm.
but you spread over weeks, months, years, decades, and
Hmm.
suddenly you have lifestyle problems emerging. So that is why, in order to bridge this nutritional gap, supplementation is the key.
Hmm.
Like in sports, if you ask any sports person, the fittest guy, okay,
Hmm.
in sports,
Hmm.
uh, they would turn around and say, okay, look, I need more energy.
Hmm.
Okay, more energy would be better.
Hmm.
So how are you going to get more energy if there's a nutritional gap? So in order to bridge this nutritional gap, supplementation is absolutely necessary. It's something like this, that again, half a century ago, I
Hmm.
don't think everybody in India had refrigerators.
Correct.
But today, even in
Hmm.
the slums, people have
Yeah.
refrigerators.
Correct.
It's not a luxury anymore, it's a necessity. In the
Right.
olden days, if you got a refrigerator, means, oh God, like, things have been sorted out. Like, you got a telephone,
Hmm.
something that was stuck on the wall.
Hmm.
That also you have to make an effort. You have to move your fingers to dial. You know,
Right.
here now you just pick up the phone and say, "Hey Siri,
Huh.
dial
And
Raj."
this.
Okay, and Siri dials Raj Watts.
Right.
Okay, so so just like that, like people did not have refrigerators. Okay, and at that time they didn't think it was necessary.
Hmm.
Okay, they would get the food and they would eat it. They'd get the food and they eat. Now the refrigerator has become a necessity.
Hmm.
Just think about it, what it has done. It has
Hmm.
created convenience,
Hmm.
but that convenience has actually become very, very inconvenient as far as your
Hmm.
health is concerned. Because now you're eating stale food. Stale food is a direct result of less nutrition.
Hmm.
Okay. So what are you going to do? How are you going to bridge this gap? Can only be done through supplementation. So supplementation in today's day and age is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. Okay, if you want to look after good health. But again,
mm,
having said that,
mm,
one should know
mm,
what is the difference between good supplementation and
mm.
bad supplementation. Okay, on this platform, we have done a lot of demos where we have shown you that if you're like lacking in iron and you go and take a thing from the pharma company and you open it out and you take a magnet and all the iron filings, it's like you're basically swallowing
Rust.
rusted
Yeah,
iron.
it's more like a rusted iron. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And over here, you say you take this little bottle, okay, coming from NutriLIV, which has got iron from palak. Obviously, the question, I mean, if you ask anybody after showing the demo, okay, would you take this or would you take this? And anybody would tell you that they would take the NutriLIV iron, okay, which is actually cheaper than that
Mm,
iron. But even if it was double the cost, people would
mm.
take that because they
Right.
understand the difference between price and value. Okay. Can you be eating rusted iron nails all your time? No, you can't. And that's the reason why supplementation is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. But please ensure that you take it from the right source. And the right source is your supplements coming from organic sources or are they manufactured in the lab? Anything that's manufactured in the lab, you can't take on a, on a long-term basis. Even if you take it on a short-term basis, it may raise those levels, but it can be harmful. But if you take something from the organic source, it is just like eating food. So the main difference between a good supplement and a bad supplement is that if your body recognizes the supplement as food, it's good. If your body does not recognize it as food, then it's not good. So this is the rule of the thumb to analyze what supplement you should take and what you should avoid.
Varun, this takes me to the next question. Like most of the people have already done the damage to their health, be it in terms like diabetes or a blood pressure or thyroid related issues, fatty liver. Most of the people, even the kids these days, have a deranged value of HDL, triglyceride, and all those stuff. And the impression is once this is there, one needs to take the medication for the rest of life. Otherwise, there is no reversal. So, do you feel, or what's your opinion on yeah, can this be reversed if people follow holistic health program, and can this lifestyle issue, especially like diabetes or thyroid, can they be reversed?
Okay. See, there's bad news over here and there's good news over here. The bad news is that this part is going to continue and
Mm,
going to become worse. I mean, I am just aghast at seeing some reports of 25-year-old,
mm,
okay, 22-year-old.
mm,
How can they have triglycerides of 400 and 500? All
mm,
right. The first thought that comes to mind is they haven't lived this long for the triglyceride to reach this level. How
mm,
can it be? That means they have been really, eating junk.
mm,
All right. But
mm,
that's the bad news. That's going to keep on happening. But
mm,
the good news over here is that
mm,
what we have found
mm,
is that all these lifestyle problems,
mm,
okay, are best handled by making lifestyle changes. And when
mm,
people make these lifestyle changes, they themselves are surprised.
mm,
Arey, in such a short time, it wasn't all that difficult.
mm.
See, what comes to people's mind who don't have the right knowledge and the idea about good health and holistic health is कि नहीं नहीं, there is an easy way out and there's a hard way out. The easy way out is to take the medication. The hard way out is to change lifestyle. Who likes a change? Nobody likes a change. Change
Yeah,
is
we.
always difficult. Change is always hard.
Mm,
But a strong decision to make the change
mm,
has surprised people. They've been
mm,
like, they've been like just woken up.
mm,
My God, they've been shocked so badly that
mm,
how the hell this was even possible.
mm.
So that is the good news that simple lifestyle changes, okay, are very, very effective, extremely good for your health, and highly recommended. But you got to believe in that, you got to trust in that, and you got to, follow it with some form of discipline so that the benefit of the lifestyle changes has a tremendous impact on your health.
Well, this raises a very simple but obvious question that if all these things is so true and so important as we can, as you have very rightly pointed, then it raises a very obvious question that why is my doctor not telling me all this?
There are two very good books. What Your Doctor Does Not Know of Nutritional Medicine May Be Killing You by Ray Strand. I really recommend that people should read that book. There's another Death by Prescription. Okay, these are two extremely good books. If you read these two books,
Hmm.
your question will be answered over here. That see that the doctor has studied medicine. The doctors have not studied nutrition. Okay,
Is it not a part of that study?
not at
Is
all. You can ask any doctor, and if they're honest, they will tell you that they probably did not have a chapter. I have been studying nutrition for the last 50 years. Okay, half a century almost. And we in sports, okay, were very fortunate because we were the few guinea pigs of Indian sports in the earlier days where all the testing was done on us. Okay. And we got introduced to some really brilliant sports medicine doctors, okay, who brought all these ideas into our head and, talked about nutrition and talked about exercise and talked about hydration, talked about, which muscles to, you know, to to work on so that you don't get injured. And that was
Hmm.
one of the reasons why when people ask me that, how come in, 40 years, you did not miss a single race, due to sickness or due to injury or anything. I had injuries.
Hmm.
I had sickness, but nothing that prevented me from not racing. I never, ever did not compete in a race, because, I was sick or I was not injured. Because I've understood these basic principles that, what are good, what is good for health. And it is very amazing, I can tell you, which most people won't believe it, that even if I was running a, fever of 102, 103, and I raced, and if I won, the fever vanished. I never had fever if I won.
Wow.
So there has got to be the effect of this, the positive environment. I mean, if you're one, you're happy. So obviously there's some positive energy flowing into your body, which is so
Hmm.
strong that it,
Hmm.
kills your sickness immediately. Like it's like, oh God, sickness, no way, no problems, right? And so it's something that one has to, one has to live with it. One has to force yourself. Like that day somebody was joking with me saying, "Okay, at this rate you will die of nothing." Now see, that is the mindset that is developing nowadays. It's
Correct.
some kind of a competition that i
Yeah.
i died because of this. Oh no, you died for three things, I died of five.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
stands, I have five. Somebody says, no, I got seven. Right. I hope, let's not make this a competition. Let's stay away from. There are many other stresses in life that we can take. Let's stay away from these.
Farooq, my last question for tonight, and then if you have time, probably we can take up some question from the audience, one or two questions. And my last question for the eve, that if somebody decides to get onto the program now, two things. What health goal would you recommend them to pick up, and why community is important, or how community can help them to achieve this health goal that they've picked up? So for somebody who is like absolutely new, wants to get
Great.
into, doesn't understand, so
Since we keep talking about two major things, nutrition and exercise.
yeah.
So monitoring, whatever you monitor has a
Mm.
chance to improve.
Yeah.
Okay. I like numbers. So if
Mm.
the numbers tell me that the numbers are improving, I know that the health is improving.
Mm.
The numbers are not improving means health is not improving. Or if the numbers are going down, it's worse, health is going down.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
So simple things. If they can put up their food plates, be honest about it. You
Mm.
know. Now you can be dishonest and put up a good food plate and eat some rubbish.
Mm.
Okay. Ask yourself a question. Who is
Mm.
it going to hurt? You, right? So
Mm.
don't do something like it. Doesn't matter, if you get an adverse comment or something like that, because the whole idea is to learn. what's right and what's wrong for me.
mm,
Right? And when you do that over a sustained period of time and you start putting your exercise activity goals on the group chat and you keep getting advice on that, okay, look, this is where you can do a little more, a little less. Doesn't mean that you got to do it. The advice is there, the choice is yours. All right. So if they do this, simple things,
mm.
okay. I've also said this repeatedly on this platform that simple things are easy to do, but they're also
Yeah,
easy
not
not
to
to do.
do, not to do. Yeah.
And when we used to train, okay, for hours and hours, like almost 24/7, not even taking a break on a Sunday, we used to train every single day of the week and used to go into months and all that. And one of the things that have stuck in my mind even today is that one of our basic success mantra was, let's learn to do simple things right. So when you have a complex sport, if you just learn to do simple things right, okay, you manage to, break the whole jigsaw puzzle and achieve success in a complex sport. Yeah. So this was our standard formula. Let's do simple things right. And what I find is that most people don't do simple things right. They unnecessarily overcomplicate issues which don't need to, be overcomplicated to such an extent. So my
And uh, and probably that's where the community helps in, because you not only you're learning from your experience, you're also learning from others' experience.
yes,
Yeah.
and that is what lifts each other up. If suppose uh, somebody believes that I can do this, he's
Mm,
right. Somebody
mm,
believes I can't do it. Same
mm,
thing, same
mm.
situation, same environment. You're right.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So, but
yeah.
when they see if somebody probably worse than them have achieved it, all of a sudden it breaks the mental barrier. And once the mental barrier gets broken, all of a sudden, boom. Okay. Oh, I can also do it then. That's the advantage of staying in a community which keeps holding each other's hands, talks about positive things, okay, and helps each other out to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Thank you very much, Farooq, for your valuable. In fact, I have more questions coming up in my mind, and I'm sure when people become a part of this community, they give priority to their health. I'm sure that more and more people are going to get benefit with this, and your mission, Har Ghar Tandurust, Har Ghar Medicine Free, will reach out to more families and more families and people. If there is any question, Farooq, can we take just one or two questions? Although I can see it's
And there's probably maybe we can take one question.
yeah.